Appreciate you sticking with us and joining the StarCraft 2 Community Team League. Quick programming update. As we are into Season 2, this is our second week of casting. Third week of games are continuing to progress now. We will be with you for the duration, Tuesdays and Thursdays, regularly scheduled at 8 p.m. Eastern. So unless something major comes up, you can expect to see us here at that time. So click that follow button on SC2CTL's Twitch channel so you can be notified when we go live. It is always a good time. Try and introduce you to these cool community teams, some more well-known than others, and we try to make them all well-known.
Absolutely. And part of doing that is introducing you to the individual players on the teams. You may have heard of the team names, but have you heard of the players? Sometimes not. So we try and give you a little bit short bios. We do not have one for 440 Gaming's next competitor. It is Flipshy, but we do from Seed Gaming's Mighty Kiwi. Mighty Kiwi is a 19-year-old from New Zealand, and he's currently living in the Root House. Started playing 6 months after the Wings of Liberty release, and he got interested in the game by watching casted matches on YouTube. Started as Zerg, has never switched, and he's known for his aggressive ZVZ style. In the WCS SEA qualifier, he managed a 7th, 8th place finish. So up and coming, living in the Root House, and playing in this next match.
Cool. And if Zode is still in chat, and he's our chat representative for 440 apparently this evening, do you have any Geeden? Well, Geeden and Zode, I think, were there.
Yes.
So if either of you want to give us any information on your team player, that'd be cool too. If not, that's awesome, but we would like to let everybody know. Also, if any of the players have Twitters, which we were not able to find on our own, feel free to post those and spam the chat with those so everyone can follow you. And I think with that, we're ready to jump on into game number 6. Currently, the score is 3-2 in favor of Root Seed. Been a close match so far. How do you...
Absolutely, back and forth.
Give me, obviously, you kind of... Give me your predictions.
Predictions for the next match?
Not predictions. I guess what I'm getting at is, how do you feel like these teams are stacking up against each other?
I mean, I feel like it's been very back and forth. You know, I think that both. I mean, obviously, there's players who are playing better than others in certain situations, but there's been a lot of close games as well where they've kind of struggled, and then one has taken a kind of a lead and been able to secure the victory. So it's kind of anybody's game, I feel like, at this point. So I mean, there's no really good way to tell. Obviously, 440 is going to be having to kind of fight from a little bit behind, but they've already got 2 games. And 2 games can go pretty quickly with the right players, so we'll see what they're able to pull out.
Yep, and this is game number 6, so with the score of 3, Root Seed with 1 more win could wrap this up. So, as you said, 440's back is against the wall. This is a must-win game in order to go to a game number 7. So with that, I think we're all set. Let's jump on into this. Hover over that P button, Mr. Galligation, and if you're ready, in 3, 2, 1, play.
Alrighty, it looks like, well, why don't you introduce your guy first?
In the upper right-hand corner, wearing the teal carapace, representing the Zerg race, also representing Root Seed, his name is the one and only Mighty Kiwi.
And in the top left corner, playing Protoss and wearing red from 440, it is Flipshy. And it looks like Geeden has once again come through for us. He's an Flipshy is an officer and a co-founding member of 440. He's been busier with school and work lately, but he's been high masters in the past, and they've taken to calling him the Surgeon Toss because of his surgical precision with oracles.
Nice. You do love the nicknames. Oracles, you know, I feel like I ask you a lot of questions, but I feel like I want to ask you another one.
Why don't you go ahead?
How do you feel about Oracles versus Zerg? Because I have mixed feelings myself.
Yeah, you know, as a Zerg player, I really like that they removed the evolution chamber requirement for those good old spore crawlers. But that being said, you kind of have to see that they're coming first. So if you've got your scouting good, then you can you're able to deal with them. And those queens can shoo them away. But if your queen isn't in position, or there's more than 1 oracle and the control is decent, then they can do some decent damage. But not necessarily if I were playing Protoss, the first thing that I would look to against the Zerg player. Yeah,
I feel like you can either get a lot of reward or a lot of pain, depending on the control of your opponent. But we'll see if we end up seeing that gateway going down, as well as a gas from Flipshy or Flipshy. Not exactly sure the pronunciation on that, but we'll pick one or both as we continue.
Mighty Kiwi taking his third base prior
look at
to his
that.
natural expansion. Going to try a little bit of mind game there. Obviously, that's going to make it a tiny bit harder to defend as it's further away than his natural is. But if his opponent is not able to scout that, then he will have a base with the look of only having one. So.
Yeah, and Habitation Station here obviously does have the high yield expansion out front too, so that is not exactly uncommon for players to take real quick like that. I mean, as a Zerg, you can take a base there real quick and try and get enough mineral income to make it worthwhile and really flood those lings. But I like the play of a third base first out here, because if a scout comes in from Flipshy, he will...
We've got confirmation on Flipshy.
Flipshy, all right. If Flipshy comes in here and scouts the natural expansion and sees the late hatchery, it tells you a whole different list of things, and you don't necessarily that early send a probe or scout around to check a third base first in general. So a little bit of mind games, as you said, but good times. Mothership Core coming out. The hatchery about to finish up at the third base for Mighty Kiwi as Warp Gate starts for Flipshy.
And Mighty Kiwi's kind of getting all the things before drones here. He's got 2 bases and now a spawning pool about to finish. So he's going to either be behind... I mean, he's going to be a little bit behind in worker count from what you would be if you hadn't gotten any one of those things. But he will be able to repopulate fairly quickly with both of these hatcheries coming out if he's able to keep them.
I mean, to be honest, Flipshy is flying by the seat of his pants right now because he has not scouted Mighty Kiwi at all. So as much mind games as he wanted to play, it all works out the same at this point, because Flipshy is now just coming across the map to scout, but he's going to see 3 bases if he scouts thoroughly. Drones are starting to come into swing as 3 queens are in production and will be popping out shortly. 2 Zerglings here, though, going to cross the path of this probe if he does not... Oh, he does send one back to try and take out that probe. One continues along to continue the scout. But, Flipshy kind of bold here, going for the expansion right away without scouting his opponent at all.
That's right, but he does now see that there are indeed 3 bases, as he went directly for that third and saw what he wanted to see, which is a base. He did kind of poke into that high yield to see if his opponent had been playing greedily, and Mighty Kiwi decided that he was going to play a little bit more conservatively in that regard.
This Zergling here did kind of have a bead on this probe here that's running around, and it is going to almost run into it within vision range of each other, just not, maybe did not quite exactly see it. Oh, but he does turn back to try and continue to chase on that probe. Nice instincts there by Mighty Kiwi, knowing where that probe was going. Got to keep those probes under control. Those proxy buildings can definitely be a difficult thing to deal with.
Yeah,
but
that will definitely give you a bad day.
Mighty Kiwi in a really good spot here. He's got 3 bases. Not a whole lot coming out from Flipshy, except a Dark Shrine.
Woo.
So DT is going to be on the field. I feel like Zerg probably has the best of all races in dealing with DTs, given that Spore Crawlers, as you said, don't require an evolution chamber and are fairly inexpensive, as long as you scout it.
Yeah,
and that's
but they
the key
do take
thing.
a second to come down, and they will. They don't take too many Dark Templar shots before they get killed either.
But the Overlord of Mighty Kiwi is quickly flying into range of this Dark Shrine, and if he is watching that, he can now confirm and see that Dark Shrine coming down, so likely we will see some reactions to that if he's watching his Overlord, which hopefully
and Flipshy
he
looks
is.
like he did have sentries trying to prevent that very thing, but they were more in the eastern corner of the map and not necessarily closer to the actual building, so they were unable to fulfill their purpose. And Mighty Kiwi does get his eyes down, immediately puts Spore Crawlers down.
And there is no proxy pylon for Flipshy either, so if he does warp in these DTs, he's going to have to walk them all the way across the map.
And with those Spore Crawlers, layers coming down as well, so he will be having mobile detection within a few minutes.
So I still like DTs against Zerg in pretty much all situations, because even if you put them down like that, you can really kind of freak out your opponent. He spent a lot of time and money-ish on those Spore Crawlers and getting a layer. Maybe he wasn't planning on getting it right then, but I need this right now to get detection. But still not a terrible layer timing. But those are so useful even in the late game if you forget about them as the Zerg player and move on into other phases of the game. And all of a sudden, 3 DTs in your base.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, I mean, if all else fails, pop them into Archons.
Yep.
Why not, right?
Absolutely. So it looks like Zealot Charge going out, so Archons definitely could be a possibility. High Templar coming down as well, so Zealot Archon going to be a thing that we see in this game, as well as +1 upgrades. Lots of Roaches, though, in production, as well as Roach Speed and Zergling Speed, so we may be seeing a push from the Mighty Kiwi here pretty soon once these upgrades all finish up relatively concurrently.
Flipshy is a little bit on top of those Roaches, however, getting Immortals to add to his army. There are tons of sentries there, so they should be able to hold this off if there's incoming aggression here anytime soon.
Warp Prism coming in from Flipshy as well, so likely going to use that to try and transport the DTs around. A pylon coming down at the bottom of the map from Flipshy as well, as close as he can get without being detected to this third base, but we'll see what comes down here. It looks like a Overseer flying over the base of Flipshy now to see what's up. Stalkers trying to get it down as much as they can. Looks like one more shot will take it out, and it does go down, but it does see the additional gateways going down, warp gates opening up, and as the High Templar Archives as well.
Looking at the Army Supply tab, it looks like Mighty Kiwi has over doubled this. Well, now it's changing a little bit, but had about twice the supply of his opponent. So is continuing to build up. Looks like the Lings are moving forward to try and see what's happening. Is able to take out a pylon, and it looks like Flipshy is kind of staging an attack here.
Yeah, this is a lot of Roaches, though. I mean, he does have Archons there, but this is a very significant number of Roaches, and not a lot of meaty units in this army of Flipshy, so these Roaches will have a fairly easy time if he can get out of the force fields. He does not have Burrow or anything like that, but 11 more Roaches in production. Spine Crawlers going down at the front. It's going to be tough for Flipshy to make this push.
But Mighty Kiwi has great positioning here. He's got the concave all ready to go. He's got 2 spine crawlers there. The Zerglings are on the left flank. They are going to be ready to kind of circle around or make a counterattack, however he chooses to do this. I don't think Mighty Kiwi's in any sweating at all at this point.
13 more Roaches in production. So looking at the unit tab real quick, 30 current total Roaches, soon to be 43 to 45. A Hallucinated Colossus does come down. Flipshy looking to be on the hurty end of this push, but if he's going to make anything happen, he really needs to. Otherwise, pull back. But the whiplash from this attack could be interesting. We'll see what he does here. Warping in the last round of units, it looks like, before he decides to move in. That Hallucinated Colossus is at about half of its duration spent waiting for a couple more Archons.
Mighty Kiwi has made a push into the base of Flipshy. He was able to break through the wall and is doing drone damage, but also Flipshy is moving forward with his army, and sure enough, the Roaches are doing huge damage.
That concave allegation.
Yeah, indeed. Time warps go down. Also, those force fields trying to narrow the concave in, and sure enough, they are kind of forced to move in awkward directions, but there are just so many Roaches, and there's the GG.
GG, and that's going to be the 4th win for Root Seed, so congratulations to Seed on defeating 440. Even though the final score does appear a bit one-sided, these games were very, very entertaining, very close. I mean, every single one of those, save a couple, were very exciting games and interesting to watch. And we appreciate the teams for being good sports, playing in the league, playing these games, being nice to each other, and all around good people.
Absolutely.
So we are going to take a quick break here. The manager or captain of Root Seed did say that he was going to be able to join us, so we're going to try and make that connection and come right back.
That's right.